Good afternoon, I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The Clarendon police were kept busy last night responding to 3 shooting scenes, including a triple murder in Maypen. 3 men, including 2 brothers, were found dead on Rose Avenue. They've been identified as 26-year-old Michael Williams and Calvin Williams, both of Comfort in the parish, and 41-year-old Bartholomew Blair of Bartons in St. Catherine. The circumstances which led to the shooting are unclear. Other reports indicate that about 8:30, the Probox motorcar, which had a red license plate, turned onto Rose Avenue shortly after explosions were heard. When the police responded, the body of one of the brothers was found outside the vehicle, while his sibling was in the front passenger seat and Mr. Blair was in the back seat. The Manchester police were also called to a scene where the body of a male was found wrapped in a plastic bag along Wollaston Main Road this morning. TVJ News understands that sometime after 6, a passerby stumbled on the body and called the police. On close inspection, it was revealed that the hands and feet were bound. Up to news time, the body was not identified. The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the KSAMC, says there are no plans to build another facility to serve residents after the Constant Spring Market has been demolished. Concerns have been expressed about the need for a market to serve the community of Constant Spring and to accommodate the vendors. In an interview with our news centre this morning, Kingston Mayor Delroy Williams says there's no need for a new market at this time.
I don't believe that we at this time need to construct another market in anywhere near the Constant Spring area. That's my personal view, but that is also coming out of discussions with planners, city planners, and so forth. It's not necessary. I believe that those resources would be best spent on upgrading the facilities we have now and modernizing them and creating spaces within our markets that we now have, so that in the use of the market, that they are comfortable and they enjoy the experience.
Mr. Williams says vendors can use the Stony Hill Market and other facilities in the corporate area.
I believe that we just have to get accustomed to doing it. I mean, there are others who do it, and it's not inconvenient for them to do it. It's not inconvenient for them to do it on a weekend. And I believe our residents will find it easy in terms of moving to and from markets where they are now. For example, on a Saturday, I don't see it's taking more than 10 minutes to travel from most parts of the municipality to any market, whether it be Papine, Crossroads, or Coronation Market. On a weekend, it's within 5 to 10 minutes for most of our residents.
Meanwhile, Bert Samuels, the attorney representing vendors at the Constant Spring Market, is questioning the sum of money that has been allocated for the vendors who will be displaced by the demolition of the market. Mr. Samuels says they've been allocated $5.7 million for the over 60 vendors, but says he heard that the figure allocated is much more.
We want to know, because we have Access to Information Act in Jamaica. The big question is, how much did the KSAC or the NAA get to pay over to the vendors? We are hearing from reliable sources that is much more than the 5.7 million. So that extra money, where the money is.
Mr. Samuels also complained that some of the vendors are being told to fire him as their attorney.
Members of the KSAC have directly approached several of my clients, persuading them to terminate the contract they have with me to represent them, offering them money, and when I look, people who I know not supposed to be able to type, every one of the letters firing me was typed the same way with the same words. So I want to know if my right to represent people, if somebody's interfering with my right to represent poor people in Jamaica, how that go?
The court ruled yesterday that the market should be demolished and that vendors be compensated. It will not be business as usual for motorcyclists when the new Road Traffic Act is rolled out. That's according to the Transport Minister, Robert Montague. Speaking to members of the media recently, Mr. Montague pointed out that under the new Road Traffic Act, motorcyclists will have to drive their motorcycles with helmets, but he says it goes even further.
Insisting on helmets and having the registration number of the motorcycle printed on the helmets and the vests as well. What we are moving to insist upon is that the dealers who sell the bikes will have to provide a helmet. So in the purchase price of the motorbike, you'll be given a helmet, just as when you buy a motor car, there's a seat belt attached, and a helmet and a vest will have to be attached.
The Transport Minister says that the measure had to be taken because of the number of bike accidents across the island, especially in Hanover and Westmoreland.
When there is a motorcycle accident and the person has to go to the hospital, that is one more bed that is taken up that ought not to have been taken. There's the cost to the average taxpayer. It is going to cost you somewhere in the region of $300,000 to $400,000 to treat an accident injury in our hospitals, while somebody who might be having a heart attack, which is something you have no control of, you are taking up that space, so there's that cost to the country.
Now to a story out of St. Mary. The operators of at least 2 shops in the Port Maria Arcade say their lives and livelihoods are in danger and they're not getting any redress from the authorities.
There is a rotten light post coming down right beside my shop there. I made complaint to the relevant authority. I spoke with the mayor. I went to the JPS. I went to the parish council, and I told them the situation, and nothing has been done.
Can't cause a fire, you know. If anything, that'll take a while for them recompensate with. And we have a tool, we have a compressor, we have a sewing machine them. So we want to go replace the light post and move it. Simple. And every other Thursday, a JPS to come in here. Every other Thursday, or every Thursday. And what you tell them, they're not paying no attention to you.
Public Relations Manager at the Jamaica Public Service, Audrey Williams, said that the JPS team in St. Mary confirmed that they did receive a report about the light post last week and plan to respond next week. Ms. Williams says given the shop operators' concerns, the team will be reviewing the situation to see if the plans to fix the post can be fast-tracked. A high-powered rifle is among 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition seized by the police in separate incidents on Thursday. The firearms were seized in Manchester and St. James. In the first incident, the police team went on an operation in Montego Hills, where they seized 1 assault rifle and 6 rounds of ammunition. TVJ News understands that sometime after 11:30, the team was in the area when a group of men opened fire at them. The police fired back, and a search of the area was conducted. An AK-47 rifle with a magazine containing 7.56 rounds of ammunition was retrieved. Meanwhile, a homemade firearm was recovered in Greenvale in Manchester. The Mandeville police say that sometime after 4:30 in the afternoon, the team searched sections of the community where they found 1 homemade firearm and 4 Winchester 12-gauge cartridges in the bushes. No one was arrested in relation to both seizures. The mayor of Gibraltar City, Kean Alderine Lopez, was handed the key to the city of Kingston on Wednesday. The key was handed over by the mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams. Mayor Williams says Gibraltar and Kingston share a similar history. As he says, Kingston was home to more than 1,500 Gibraltarians during World War II. The refugees were housed at the Gibraltar camp at the University of the West Indies.
We have developed a close relationship, and we have twinned as sister cities. Today is a special moment in our history, as Mayor Lopez and a delegation from Gibraltar are with us today in the city of Kingston as part of concretizing that relationship. It's important also that we look at other areas like sports and entertainment. I know that there is a keen interest in developing relationships in sports, football. I know when we were in Gibraltar there, we were exploring having a team from Jamaica and also to play in Gibraltar sometime in July. I believe you're opening your stadium. and also there in track and field.
The Mayor of Gibraltar expressed gratitude for the honor.
Today, receiving the keys of Kingston and the freedom of the city is an absolute honor, which it goes beyond momentums I received, and I will treasure it forever. So thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm extremely grateful.
In sports, disgruntled trainers at the Caymanas Park are restive over the 3-week late payment of purses by promoting company Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited. As Denise Walters reports, they were forced into an emergency meeting to discuss actions to take going forward.
Brian Darby, president of the United States Racehorse Trainers Association, said despite having more than one meeting with the CEO and chairman of Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited, SVREL, a unanimous vote was taken by the trainers at Thursday's meeting to send an official letter demanding purses be paid within 7 days as agreed on.
Since Supreme Ventures has come on board, they have invested in some capital projects, but the only project that has affected trainers and owners and grooms that we see immediate effect was the 7-day payment. They have nothing else that has improved our lives. They have nothing else, nothing has improved since Supreme Ventures has come that direct improve for the trainers or the groom or the owner's life, apart from the 7-day payment. And that's the main thing we're asking them, to go back to the 7-day payment to make it easy, to make it ease on the industry.
He says while the latest incident, which has resulted in the trainers not being paid within a 3-week period, the late payment of purses has been ongoing for 5 months.
To prepare us, we take a month. We take a month to prepare us, So for us to prepare us, we have been spending for probably a month preparing him for the race. When the race run and he wins and earn, we're going to wait another month or 3 weeks to collect again. So we're going 2 months without collecting. We can't be crediting in a losing industry.
President of the Grooms Association of Jamaica, Fabian White, whose association also held a meeting on Thursday, said the non-payment of purses also affects the grooms.
Normally, and true that the traders say take a month to prepare a horse, and for prepare a horse, that month you need money. So if you can encourage the owner by giving him money in 7 days, we get more owner which the industry need. So we are all for it here too, because as you know, as you said, the trainer money come late, our one double late.
Darby says immediate industrial action is not on the table, but it could be a case where a race meet may not go ahead based on lack of prepared horses being nominated.
The main thing we might have is that the horse is not properly prepared to be nominated, but they have no, say, industrial action planned. But if horses are not ready for a nomination, I guess we'll have a minimum entry or no entry, because we need money to run a plant.
He is expecting an answer from SVREL by Monday, and another meeting is planned for next Tuesday with the trainers to discuss a plan of action depending on the response from the promoting company to the letter from the trainers. Approximately 40% of the trainers turned up at Thursday's meeting at Caymanas Park that lasted for at least an hour. Denise Walters for TVJ Sports.
TVJ Sports did seek a reaction from the CEO of SVREL, Major Hugh Blake, at Caymanas Park yesterday, but he declined to comment on camera. And that's the Midday News. I'm Milton Walker. Join us at 7 for Primetime News on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Well, good afternoon.